because you're thinking in the back of your mind, you're like, "Oh, I don't need to work out as hard as I normally do because I'm eating less."
No,
No.
I just think I'm taking in way too many carbs. Like I'm not nearly
You know
way
what?
way more carbs than I usually eat.
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna piss off another group. There's a lot of fat vegetarians out there I know because you know what I mean. Just because you're a vegetarian does not mean
Yeah, we're just gonna start this shit live.
That's why I said I'm mad that I liked it. Like I'm really pissed.
he's Chinese.
Welcome to the latest episode of Sarat and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast.
Like,
No, listen. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I had a specific reaction after I got done with the movie, and I just feel like I have to watch it all straight through because I'm watching it and taking it in as it is, and I don't know, something about it ain't sitting right with me.
I think you're a hater. That's what it is.
Maybe who knows? Women get in the forefront. They did my boy Bach mess up, fucked him up.
And I don't know. Maybe I was so enamored in the first one that I completely forgot my man was a munchkin. Like when she was like, when the dude was like, "Yo, munchkins are not allowed," and I was like, "Wait, what the fuck that has to do with him?" And then they panned out to the boo. I was like, "Oh shit, my man is a munchkin." I was like, "Yo," and then I was thinking, I was like, "So then what that makes her?" Because people in the wheelchair have little feet, or like. I was like, wait, is she
hold on. You said people in wheelchairs have little feet?
Okay, so before anybody attacks me,
before you go even further into that, welcome to the latest episode of Sarat and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast featuring Marcos. It's your boy Sarat, aka Makazi.
It's your boy Marcos, aka at the Sunset Kid 56. Before I get canceled out there.
Yeah.
I just want to qualify the statement that my older brother was in a wheelchair, and as part of at least for his condition, his legs were not developed. They were like smaller and stuff like that. I guess because if you don't use them or something. But I'm like, I'm like, wait a minute, and I know this because I'm like, she might be short herself. And this is the Wicked West of the Wicked Witch of the East.
Yeah.
And I felt like that whole thing was racism. Like they were like, "You're a witch," and it's like, what? I was like, Nessa, when did Nessa become a witch? She always,
but she was always the Wicked Witch of the East.
I understand
that's why
that.
The Wicked Witch of the West comes and goes after everyone. She
never became an actual witch. She had no power. She was just Elphaba's paraplegic younger sister, and I was just like, okay.
Well, I mean, if you're listening now, clearly you know what movie we watched this week. This is our first actual episode of 2026 where we're covering a movie. So we thought we'd pick a movie that was probably one of the bigger, more prominent movies at the tail end of 2025. Marcos, since they already know, but why don't you let them know what movie we watched this week?
Wicked for Good, which is a sequel to Wicked, aka the second half of the play. If you ever seen the play, this is pretty much the story after the intermission, which I like.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So, like you said that Nessa didn't necessarily turn into a witch. I personally think if you're thinking supernatural, yes, she didn't get the power, she didn't do all that, but if you're talking about the actual idea of a witch, someone who's evil, someone who's manipulative and does all almost like an evil stepmother, I feel like of all the characters in the movie, she probably actually had the most evil turn.
I don't know, man. Like, was it evil that she liked somebody? So I guess we're all evil because she had feelings for somebody that
you're gonna make me pop open this blue moon,
bro. We all know that's non-alcoholic.
So dry January. So
you saw what I sent you. I sent you an Instagram that was like, "Oh, dry January, fuck that. Get drunk every single day."
I got dry. I'm doing dry January and I'm doing vegetarian for the month of January. And for some reason I've already gained 5 pounds. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Because you're thinking in the back of your mind, you're like, "Oh, I don't need to work out as hard as I normally do because I'm eating less."
No, I just think I'm taking in way too many carbs. Like I'm not nearly.
You know what?
Way more carbs than I usually eat.
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna piss off another group. There's a lot of fat vegetarians out there I know because you know what I mean. Just because you're a vegetarian does not mean that your caloric intake is astronomical.
Yeah.
Like I know a bunch of people like, hey dog, like I thought you said you were having Brussels sprouts. Why that has butter, it has chili oil, it has all this seasoning. Like, dog, that smell like steak at this point. Like,
No.
I don't know what to tell you.
Listen, bro. I again, my mother-in-law is gluten free, and whatever, more power to her. Whatever she needs, whatever helps her feel good. I think there's a lot of people out there that conflate the idea of gluten free with healthy. Just because it just means it ain't got gluten. I'm sorry that it's still a brownie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gluten free means ain't nothing but it just missing something. Like you
Yeah, it
know what I
just
mean?
means
It's
it's
like
dry.
like when you go to Asian restaurant, you'd be like, I just want to make sure this has no MSG. Like it's still Chinese food. It's still high calories. It's still all that oil, all that grease. Like people be thinking that like beef and broccoli is like, oh, that's a healthier meal. It's like just because they got it in white rice. I was like, bro, that's still a bunch of sauce that you're eating. Like, just because you throw in broccoli, and I'm that person. When me and my wife go out, I was like, you know what I'll eat like today? I have beef and broccoli. She's like, just because you throw seasoned broccoli in there does not mean you eat healthy. But
listen,
hey.
speaking of missing something, that's how I felt about this movie. And and the thing is, I wasn't familiar with the play, so I'm literally learning about Wicked through these movies. And the first half to me was very grand. Obviously, it set up the world. It was establishing a lot of things, but maybe in the way it was shot, maybe in the musical numbers, it felt like a much bigger movie. And this half felt more intimate. Now, I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for, but it was almost felt like it was more intimate, and it felt like it was a race to the finish. So it felt like there wasn't as much emotion in this side in part two as it was in the first one. I don't know if you got that.
I mean, I felt like there was a couple things that I noticed. I didn't think it lacked. I just think that we're at the like I said, like in our personal chats that basically the first movie was the up of the roller coaster where they had to do a lot of heavy lifting and now everybody's bought in. And then it's like whoop, it's kind of like so maybe you're getting the same feeling that that people that went and saw Lord of the Rings Part 1 got, where the movie ended with them on a canoe basically in a river, and then they hit the credits and people were like, what's this? It's like you had to understand that Part 2 was coming, and then um I believe the Two Towers, which was the second one,
Yep.
was good, but it didn't have the punctuation that the first one and the Return of the King had. And I felt like I understand that for somebody that didn't watch the play, but I knew this. Like you sit there, it's like it's crazy when people will go willingly and watch a play that could be 4.5 hours with a 30-minute intermission in between the shows and between the first act and the second act. But with movies, it has to be split and brought back. And I get that. It has to do with people that are a lot that deal with the numbers. You got to deal with how many showings they can have in the theater,
Yeah.
how much money they'll make, and if they have somebody looking forward to next year.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I just found some things that I was just like, wait a minute. Like I know obviously they changed the story to fit the movie. Like, Nessa was not in a wheelchair and they wrote that in.
Yep.
Of course, because of the wonderful actress that plays her. She was actually really good. Marissa Bode. She's been in a couple of things. She has an incredible voice, which I find funny that they
Yeah.
didn't really give her a lot of singing. Like that's the world that she comes from
Yeah.
Broadway acting and singing. And and the implied sex, I thought they were going to remove that based on this being PG. But like when my man is sitting there with Elphaba, Fierro was like, yeah, and then he's like removing her dress. I was like, are they about to fuck? Like, and sure enough, they did like they try to be slick like in the
Yeah.
'80s back in the day when all of a sudden they just go to black They in the movie they went to another scene and then they came back and then she was like obviously naked.
Yeah.
And now it's just
I
like,
don't mind that. It makes it honest. It makes the emotion honest. Look,
yep.
I guess my issue with it is that it isn't necessarily that, like, first of all, I don't agree with your comparison to Lord of the Rings, because I felt like Lord of the Rings 1, after the battle in the forest, like that was the crescendo of part 1. And
Yeah.
obviously as the movies went, the battles got bigger and bigger, but it built up to something that had like a lot of impact and a lot of emotion. And then obviously you saw that it carried on and went into part 2. And again, with this one, with part 1, it built up to Alphaba flying, and that defying gravity song, everything. It was so big. And it leads on to the next movie. I just think there was nothing in this movie that had a moment that was equal in emotion. Now, it didn't have to be as grand or whatever, but like I know it's supposed to be the scene where Scarecrow goes in there and if I can opens the door, and spoiler, if you haven't watched this, play that's been out for damn near 3 decades, he opens up the trap door and she's there, and you realize, she didn't actually die. But the way it was done in the movie, it kind of just happened. Like, you got to build up the tension. Let the camera sit on that man for a second. Let him wonder if she's actually in there.
I would assume that they talked about it. I think if they would have given us an Ocean 11 type deal, where they go back to a flashback of them talking post coitus, mm-hmm. like all right, this is the plan, and then somehow they still end up with that plan. I liked and hated at the same time that they didn't show Dorothy and Toto, and I get it because they don't want to infringe on that entire movie. They do have the rights, but I don't know. People might break me in the coals. Yeah. I think the same way that they brought this to film, they should redo Wizard of Oz, but do it faithfully. Don't change it.
Would you watch Oz the Great and the Powerful, then Wicked, and then Wizard of Oz? Like, would you watch it like that?
You know what? I saw Oz Great and the Powerful before this, and you could tell they're from 2 different universes.
Yeah.
Like the characteristic of Oz Great and Powerful, they made him seem like he's a good person. Yeah. In this one, they showed him that he's flawed and he's kind of a dick. Yeah. Like, if you think about it, like, this entire movie and a lot of plots in a lot of movies these days can be solved with a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, and it's funny, they should have given Bowen Yang, who played Fanny, one of the Glinda's like helpers, also one of the quote unquote meme people to Elphaba. If they would have just give her and the best friend the scene, which I think they wrote her out, the girl that was supposed to be like the duo of them too. Yeah. A scene of them just being like, have you noticed it? Like, how does Glinda not know that Elphaba likes Fiero and that Fiero likes Elphaba? Because Glinda did not really say she liked Fiero. I think her whole in the first one, she was more like, I like to be liked.
Yeah. In the first one, she was definitely more of a like, I like to be liked. He's the guy that's got all the attention. So clearly he should be liking the girl who likes to be liked. It's more of a, well, this is how it's supposed to be, not necessarily a, I'm battling you for this person.
Yeah. And then they kind of like switch it, which is kind of a little bit clunky, but I guess you have to do it to make clear reasons for Hollywood and for moviegoers that, this is the boy's mind situation. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When clearly they had no shot, just like my man Bach that you mentioned earlier, who got the short end of the stick. Like, my man thought he was going to come out of left field like, this girl's about to get married and I'm going to tell her how I feel. You know what's crazy? The amount of people that think that actually is appropriate and could work. Where somebody
people get wrapped up in their own feelings, and that they think their feelings are the only feelings that matter, are the most important feelings in the world. They don't realize they got a whole group of people over there who are thinking their own thing or feeling their own way.
Yeah, like they think, like he really thinks like, you know what? She's marrying Fiero because I haven't told her how much I care about her. It's like, I'll fix that real quick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but if they would have been together, if they were like exes, I understand. Like, I understand the bravado of like, will they, won't they? Like, I really care about her. Like, out of like Ross and Rachel for our older
Never
listeners and
seen an episode.
friends.
Never seen an
Well,
episode. I
well,
know the
Ross,
song. Never seen an episode.
yeah. So basically, it's like they dated,
Yep.
or no, they liked each other, but they never told each other. It was mutual.
Yep.
And then the guy was like, "No, I really like this other person, and I'm gonna marry her." And then the famous scene was that Ross said Rachel's name when he was saying "I do." He said, "I, Ross, take Rachel," or something in the effect, while standing up there, and it was like, "Ooh."
That's
And
like when Clark was sick and he said Lana when Chloe was right there with him. I was like, oh,
yeah,
Chloe was broken down. Yeah, I get it. No, okay, so I get it. Like my favorite character in this iteration or part 2 was Box, because to me he had the most tragic, story. Like, obviously he was being kept. He was essentially a slave, an indentured slave to Nessa, or because
I
she
think,
felt
I
the
think,
way. She
I
felt the
think,
way when she realized he was there, but like he actually,
but
after the way she's been treating him, that he wanted to go with his sister, with Glenda.
can we call a spade though?
Go for it.
He was there willingly for what seemed to be the period of time from when Alphaba got denounced.
Mhm.
And you know what? Fuck Bach. Because Bach saw Alphaba and he was like, "You bitch, you here." Like he fell for it. Like,
He
yo,
got no
you
heart.
were.
He's got no more. He's got no heart anymore. Like to
No,
him,
no, 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 no. This
To
was
him,
before he got changed. Remember when he walked in with the newspaper? He was like, "What are you doing here?" Like if he didn't spend had flashbacks with this motherfucker, like, you know what I mean?
listen,
Like,
no, but you got sometimes propaganda works. Look at fucking in Harry Potter when everybody was mad at Harry, thinking like, oh, he's talking about Voldemort coming back, and Seamus, his own dude that he's gone to school with all these years, was talking shit to him. He's like, my mom told me not to hang out with you no more because you're talking about Voldemort and shit.
that's different. These are children. This
No,
is a grown ass man.
No, well, first of all, he's the same size as children. Whatever. But
Wow. But hold on. Can we also talk about these people, how they grew from going to this school and then all of a sudden one is a senator, one is a witch, that's the head of a country, one is on the run,
well, what was
one
that?
is the head of the army.
What's the time jump? Is there a time jump? Because
They didn't say it. They didn't say it.
Yeah. Nessa looked like someone. She changed, like her look was like growing into like someone else. I think she took Bach's whole look. Her
Yeah.
hair.
The curly hair.
Yeah.
First of all, I think they cheaped out on the Cowardly Lion, because the Cowardly Lion was not a lion.
I was waiting. For some reason, I sat there. I was like, where's the Cowardly Lion? And I completely forgot about that one. That dude.
Yeah, and I was just like, come on, man. We needed I forgot the term, is it when it's a human beast hybrid? That's what I was waiting for.
Well, like
it was
like Mr. Tumnus in Narnia.
Yeah, like something where it was a guy that was such a pussy that he turned into the lion.
Yeah, but no,
like,
but they put such a focus on lions talking that, like, I mean, animals talking, that I like that. It wasn't as prominent, like, because you saw Bach's story, because you saw Fiero's story, you kind of like were waiting for like, hey, where's the line? And you were like, oh, it was that
and
dude
also
earlier.
Also, to quote this famous YouTuber, he's stupid. You know why he's stupid? Because Nessa hit him with the flim flam, and he was like, "Yeah, man, Alphaba did that too." And it's like, motherfucker, you were right there. And when she said the spell, and you're like, like, how did?
No, but I mean, but the thing is, I mean, in his mind, obviously, Alphaba was trying to. We know Alphaba was trying to save him, and she did whatever she could to try to save him. But in his mind, she turned him into this cold tin man with no heart. Like,
so he wanted to die. So Alphaba should just let motherfuckers die.
No, but he's got no heart, so he can't understand that. He just knows she turned him into a tin. She turned him into a tin man. He ain't got no empathy.
I don't know if something happened where when he got turned into, he got basically amnesia, because he was there when she.
No, but he's got no empathy. He don't understand. He don't understand why she did it. He just knows she put a spell on him, and he turned to a tin man. And now he's, he ain't never gonna be, obviously flesh and blood no more.
Can we talk about Madame Morrible, how nobody noticed her going to do shit, and they're like, "Oh my god, Alphabet
Yeah.
just write that in the cloud," and I was like, I would have been the guy if I was in the townsperson. I would have been like, "What are y'all talking about? It's
Yeah.
obviously this lady." Like, I feel like SNL has done a skit like this. Like, it was her. Like, what are you guys
Yeah.
talking about? Like, we got it. Like, I remember, I don't know, some skit was just like, it was like they were doing a skit off of Scooby Doo, and
Yeah.
then the dude was like, "Nah, we got the criminal. Let's just arrest him or let's kill him. Why
Yeah.
we gotta leave the room? We got him right here."
Yeah,
Like,
I guess I got a rant. I got a question. So, like, obviously, this is such a renowned Broadway show.
yep.
After seeing it on screen,
Mhm.
do you prefer the stage show or the movie or the film? Like, what's
I,
what's
I,
your
I'm not gonna give you a definitive answer. I'm gonna say I'm torn
okay?
because I like the visual effects of the movie of expanding the world, but I
Mhm.
also am a person when I go see a play, especially a play that has multiple acts like this, and it's just not a one scene play. I love seeing the stage transform. I
Yeah.
love seeing that people get into place, get into character. Like one of the greatest plays that I've seen, and people are gonna probably laugh at this, are the Disney productions. Seeing Aladdin, seeing The Lion King,
Yeah.
just seeing how much work that goes into, and they do
Yeah.
that twice a day
Yeah.
is insane. You know what I mean? Sorry, twice a day on the weekends,
Yeah.
it's insane. Like, it's a well-oiled machine, which again gives me hope for humanity because there's some fun shit that we do for it. Whereas, like, I understand in a movie there's nothing, there's a budget always.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? You can't just be like, hey, work your magic,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
whatever you want. Like, I'm sure if at a certain point all this technology and all the cinematography and everything will become cheap enough that we'll see it get better and better. Because you
Mhm.
you think about movies that were made in the 80s and in the 90s compared to the effects that are now,
Yeah.
some are practical. Like the CW, like if you ever watched The Flash, or even I know you talk about it, Smallville,
Yep.
some of those special effects would have been an entire budget of a movie in the 80s,
Yeah.
but the technology got so accessible that TV shows were able to use it and not bankrupt themselves.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it's like I have a big imagination, but I also have a big appreciation for technology and seeing where the CGI is.
Yeah. I liken again, I'm with you. Like, I think the world of Wicked was tailor made for the screen, like because you can expand it, because you can make it bigger. You can make it as grand as the imagination, sees it. But there's something about seeing something live and in person and seeing it change. There's a magic to it that just it leaves you in awe. And I liken it to wrestling in a sense that like when something is shot, God damn it, when something is shot backstage, promo or something like that, no matter how good it is, and just like with a movie, no matter how good it is, in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, it might have took, a couple tries until they got it right, until they got it the way they want it. When it happens in front of you, even if it's just okay, it doesn't have to be amazing, but when it's just okay, but when it works, like this is part of you that goes, oh man, it's like it's happening right now, right in front of me. I don't know how it's happening. I don't know how they're coming up with it, but like it's live and I'm seeing it happen right before my eyes. So there's no hiding any of the mistakes and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And I feel like if you're the performer, whether it's an actor or a wrestler or anybody of that nature, I think the payoff of you doing it live
Yeah.
is it's a lot more like in your face. Like
Yeah.
I've been there, borrowing from the wrestling world. I've been there when individuals have cut promos that you're listening, you're like, yo, this is amazing.
Mhm.
And you're like you're in a moment, like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
seeing something that's special. Just
Yeah.
like I'm sure you've gone to a concert or listened to a song for the first time that you're like, man, this record or this performance, people are gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like just because I'm hood, and the first thing that comes to mind when I was watching the Locks versus the
Dipset.
Diplomats, and Dipset in the verses, when Jada went off cuff and started freestyling, I was like, yo, like,
Yeah.
like I was like, yo, and then the fact that then after it aired or during it aired, because social media, everybody was thinking the same thing. I was like, I knew it as the words were coming out of his mouth. I was like, yo, he is doing something crazy right now.
Yeah.
Versus me listening to an album and him going off on the same tangent. It'll be like, oh, that was a good verse. He had time. Him doing it right then and there and getting the crowd reaction right there is dope.
I go to a lot of rock concerts. I see a lot of alternative music, and like one of my favorite bands is One OK Rock. It's a Japanese band. They sing in English, whatever. But like when you see them live, and this is like with a lot of singers, they start singing, and you're like, oh, they sound exactly like they do on record in person.
Yeah,
it blows your mind because, like, again, with a record, you think, okay, they might have they did a bunch of stuff in order to make this thing sound the best they could. And then when you see somebody perform, you see an Adele, you see, somebody who's got powerful voice, and you hear them, you're like, and you're just in for that ride. And again, like that's one of the things that I think gets lost when you're watching a movie versus a play. But to a movie's credit, you can do so much more. You can get this across the way you see it in your head. So
yeah. But also when they cast Elphaba and they cast Glinda, they had of course what's her name, which I found out during the credits of this movie because I'm not Ariana Grande's fan base.
I don't know. You look like the fan base.
Her name is Ariana Grande.
You messing it up on purpose just to throw it off.
No. Ariana, Ariana Grande. I forgot whatever her last name is. She's married, and I didn't know this. But once they cast her and Cynthia Erivo, I was like, oh, they ain't playing. Like these people are singing. And then when they and I don't know if you caught like the live performances they did leading up to all the movies.
Mm-hmm.
They both can sing.
Yeah, and from what I read when they were filming the movie, like all that singing is done live on stage, like as they're filming. It's not done in ADR later or anything like that. No, they're singing in camera. So nasty.
Which is
good. Are there any other Broadway shows that you've seen where you're like, I wish I could see this. Like I want to see this as a movie.
You know what? And you're gonna laugh at this. Cats. But I completely avoided seeing that movie because I didn't want it to ruin the experience for me. I like Cats. I saw Les Miserables. Seeing Les Mis on the movie theater with Hugh Jackman was amazing. It was a good movie. Why I imagine there's a couple one scene plays like watching the Odd Couple, a play versus watching the TV show.
Yeah,
and the movie, the play I prefer it. It's just like it's more like in your face.
Well, yeah, the Odd Couple is like a sitcom, so it's like it's tailor made to take place right in front of you, like a play. So
but it was a play. It started off as a play, I believe. It wasn't titled The Odd Couple, but it was like a one act play.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to think about me and Lily saw this play last year, literally a year ago, this week. That it was about a school during the pandemic and them dealing with it. That was a comedy, and it was so well done that I would love to see that as a movie or as a limited run TV show.
Yeah,
that it was really good. But honestly, I lived long enough to see most of the major plays that had an impact on me to come out, and even unexpected one like In the Heights.
Yeah.
Like when I saw that, I was like, man, that's dope. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then seeing it in the movie, I was like, yo, that's phenomenal.
It's weird. So one play I've never seen, but I really want to see it. But because of how revered it is, I'm curious to see what it would be like in a movie is Book of Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Book of Mormon, with that creative team behind it, I don't know. And you interject a little bit of that South Parkiness. I don't know. I think it would make a really good movie. I've been lucky enough to like be able to see those ones that, where it started off on screen and then inspired a play. Like I went and saw Back to the Future.
I want to see that in Harry Potter.
Oh, dude. So they're actually playing Harry Potter, Curse of the Child in Orlando right now.
Nice. I want to see it in New York just because I want to see the original set because sometimes the travel set is not as
Yeah.
inclusive. Because remember, this is their home theater, so they don't have to move stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, that's the thing. So I was actually really curious um, uh, because I'd seen it in Broadway already. So this one that's playing in Orlando, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to be doing the same stuff because there's certain elements to it. I won't spoil it for you, but there's certain elements to it. But I'm like, it feels like the stage or the theater is made or is set up for these elements.
yep.
So I'm curious to see how they're going to do it here if I get a chance to go see it. But one thing I also saw recently that was really good was Stranger Things.
I hate you. You went and saw it in New York, or you saw? Is it
Yeah, in New
traveling?
York at the Marquee Theater. Oh, it was so good.
I
Because I
gotta
had
watch
happened to be after one of my friends, after Danilo's wedding, me and my fiance at the time, my wife, were in New York hanging out, and we were like, oh, let's go do something. We're like, oh, let's go see a play. And we saw that they was playing, so we got tickets, bro. Let me tell you, when that mind flare shows up, holy shit!
I gotta
I
watch
was
it.
like,
It's
damn.
canon. It's canon. If you, I don't know if you finished Stranger Things. I did,
Yes,
and
yeah,
I'm gonna rewatch the last episode actually this week because my
yeah,
home setup is a lot bigger than when I saw it when I was during the holidays. But
yeah. Yeah,
man,
when in that final episode when they go back
high school,
into Henry's mind and you see all the high school stuff, that's the play,
yeah,
you know? And like I read that they said it happens off screen, but like Joyce and Hopper recognize Henry as what the
yep,
kid they went to school with. No, it
yeah.
was really fucking good, bro. And everyone when after I saw it, I'm like, yo, if you guys like Stranger Things, go watch this play. It's right in New York right now.
And it's one of those things that you wouldn't think a play like that would work, but
Mhm.
it does. Like I've heard so many good things. We're actually gonna go see one, I think, next weekend, not this weekend, the following weekend. We're gonna be in New York, and if I could convince,
Biography of Big Pun.
no, we're gonna you fucking dick. We're gonna see. It's a comedy show. I have no idea. I bought the tickets for excuse me, for Christmas. I don't know. It's a play that Lily picked where it's a bunch of comedians.
Yeah.
It's a short run show, and they're doing like one acts like each.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like really good.
Yeah.
Um,
So do you okay, is there any elements again, I've never seen Wicked on Broadway. Were there any elements in the play that you wish they had brought to the movie, or was it pretty faithful in its adaptation?
it was pretty faithful with the certain exceptions, like they changed songs to, of course, fit Nessa. Um,
Yeah.
it was a couple different things that they did that I enjoyed.
Did
But
did you
it was
did you have
seamless.
say again?
It was kind of seamless. It was nothing that'll detract you from the
Yeah.
movie.
Okay. Were there okay, after watching part 1 and part 2, do you have a specific set piece that you're like, okay, that's my favorite set piece of the film?
My favorite set piece of the film is like um Oz's laboratory. Like I think that like because you got to understand what you got the monkeys in there, you got all the contraptions he's doing. Like I think having those three actors, Goldblum, Grande, and Elphaba,
Yeah.
there they were. It was like a very well acted scene,
Yeah.
and like the only thing I wish is that Jeff Goldblum had more of a sinister character to him.
Yeah.
But he's such a like when he was younger, you could hate him, but like Jeff Goldblum now, it's like
Well,
it's like
he played the character as such an eccentric. You know who it reminded me
yeah,
of? It reminded me of
Jeff Goldblum.
well, yeah, but like you remember in the last season of Mandalorian when Jack Black was guest?
Yeah,
It reminded me of that. Like
yeah,
again, it's an eccentric character that I don't know if necessarily like I don't know if it's not necessarily that it was good or bad. It's just maybe not what I wanted to see from the character,
yeah.
you know? And like, again, like yeah, Jeff Goldblum like now is just you see him. I wish it was Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now he's just like I think that he's just playing himself, which is good. That's
Yeah.
the Wizard of Oz you want. But like at no point through the movie did I hate him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when he quote unquote turned on them and then at the last one, I was just like, no, he's just being a con man. He's being, weird.
Yeah.
Like even when the monkey came in and kind of like pushed over the rock or whatever and was like basically check here.
Yeah.
When Alphaba went down into the dungeon, I was just like, Jeff Goldblum's if the a Wizard of Oz just said, "Hey, I completely forgot about that," I'll be like, "Okay, I believe it." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like he didn't give off nefarious. Like, I know
Yeah.
they tried to sell it so well, and like Alphaba's crusade against him, but then it's like I love that the play and the movie did this. It's kind of like all misunderstanding.
Yeah.
There's gray area. Like I
Yeah.
think Alphaba forgave the wizard. Like the only person that looked like they didn't have forgiveness in her heart was Glinda, because Glinda at the end, like basically blamed everything on Morrible.
I don't know. I don't know. I
Like,
felt like, in all
like
honesty, I felt
she
like
picked
the only
Joy.
yeah, but I felt like the only person that really didn't have a redeeming quality or anything that was Nessa. I'll be honest with you. I felt like she was the one who willingly knew she was doing evil and was okay with it.
I just think Nessa is the epitome of what we talked about before, of a human being that believes their feelings are more important than anybody else's.
Yeah.
Like you saw, she
You ever had a moment like that in your life where you felt like where you were so into your own feelings or emotions that you didn't take a second to think about anyone else's around you?
100%. I wouldn't be human if I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And but as I got older, I started adopting a mantra that it's not like I declare it out loud, but I'm like, don't make permanent decisions on temporary feelings.
Yeah.
Like, I've been mad at my wife, I've been mad at family members and everything that I'm like, man, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that I've done stuff that I wish I could take back, but it's not like I don't do it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Like, I think Nessa was just acting like a person that was hurt.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and then like, again, I've had things done to me or stuff like that where it's like, you feel a certain way about it because you clearly can be like, yeah, this person. Go ahead.
Hold on.
His canepas are just got delivered from Instacart.
No, it's my job sent me a delivery that I gotta pick up. Hold on.
He gonna come back with a Domino's, pan pizza, mushroom and pepperoni, and he'd be like, yeah, they sent me, there's a pizza party at work, but I work from home, so they wanted to include me. I don't know. Oh, I wonder what he's gonna show up with. He lives in Baltimore. Maybe some blue crab. I'm telling you, it's got to be his food. He's trying to make it sound like it's work, but it's gonna be food. Some blue crab. Maybe go to whatever that seafood place is that all the wrestlers go to in Baltimore. I don't know. Marcos has he got that. He's got a very particular.
Go ahead.
He's gonna
Say
come.
it.
He's gonna come back and
Say it.
I'm
Say
just
what
saying.
you
I'm just saying. I thought you was, maybe you sent you in Baltimore. Maybe it was a delivery of blue crab or some Jimmy
no.
seafood.
It's like I told you, I cracked my laptop, so
Yeah,
they sent me my new one. It got
yeah.
programmed and then they sent it to me, so I don't have to come pick it up.
Oh, okay. When I was saying that, like, I've had, things done to me where it's like, it felt like the other person wasn't, taking my feelings or something into consideration. And like all they cared about was himself. And it made me feel a certain way. But then at one point in my life, at a certain point in my life, I started thinking about it. I'm like, first of all, you can't tell a person how to feel about whatever is going on in their life. And you have to understand that for a lot of people, what's happening to them is the worst thing that's happening in the world to them.
Yeah.
And once you understand that that's just how it is, like you can't sit there and be like, oh, well, I've had this happen. That's nothing. Well, they haven't lived your life. So, just because it might seem insignificant to you doesn't mean it's insignificant to them. So yeah, just taking a second to step out of your own feelings and being like, hey, like everybody's going through some shit. Don't necessarily hold it against someone when it feels like they're acting emotionally about something.
Yeah, and I'm also the person that doesn't like to make things about them.
Mhm.
Like, I might have the same emotions, but knowing that I could do it, I won't do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, this is like a beta quality. It's like, no, that's just how I am. And then I also, to go with that, I also don't expect people to think the same way.
Yeah.
Like if let's say we're example is an example, right? If we going somewhere, right, and it's something exclusive, and we both get there, and they're like, yo, you can't come in, or something like that, like, or like it's
Mhm.
a party or whatever. But then
Yeah.
somebody recognizes, he's like, yo, bring him in, and then the person like him, and then it's like, yeah. And then the guy, whoever is like sorting people out, is like, what about him? He's like, "Nah, I don't know him." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would be like, my position would be like, yo, if my buddy can't go, I'm like, yo, I appreciate you. I'm a roll out
Yeah.
with my friend. But
Mhm.
I would look at you and be like, bro, if you don't get your ass in there and
Yeah.
go, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't want to be like, I'll die on the sword, but I wouldn't want people to die on the sword for me.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm not gonna I don't want to be the reason that someone misses out on something because they're trying to look out for me. But I'm that guy who I don't mind missing out on shit if I'm,
Yeah.
these are my day ones. I'm gonna stay with them.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like that's just how I am.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just
Do you
like
think that's how Glinda was looking at Alphaba in this? Because you had the whole world, turning on Alphaba getting to the point where she's like, if they think I'm wicked, fuck it, I'm gonna be a wicked witch.
yeah.
But Glinda was always like, nah, that's my friend. Like she says, she goes, I had a lot of friends, but only one that
But
mattered.
but Glinda was also falling for the Kool-Aid that she was drinking. Like, you know what I mean? Like when Fierro was like, I feel like you are enjoying this. And then she was like, no, but I'm doing this because, no, there's a big part of her that liked the attention. Like
Yeah.
she could have said no. Like let's be honest. When Elphaba was like, no, you gotta let them believe. Like part of her was like, you don't gotta twist my arm. Like, twist my arm, why don't you? Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
I don't know because it felt like she took people at their word. If they say if someone says they're doing good, she's like, oh yeah, clearly he's doing good because that's what they said they're doing. But when they're
so is
throwing
she
dirt on,
naive and then Elphaba's a realist?
not necessarily naive, but maybe eternal optimist.
Mhm.
Like it just felt like she wanted to believe in the good in everyone, and like because she does that, she's like, oh yeah, clearly everybody likes me because everybody's liked me. So like it's like she's was basically like her point of view was kind of um validated to her because that's what she saw. And then once they started speaking on Alphaba, and she's like, well, no, that's not my friend. That's not the girl I know. So she, no matter what they were saying, like she kind of let them say what they said, almost didn't try to tell them how they felt, but in her mind, she's like, but that's my friend. Like I know
But then
her. She's
she
not like
came
that.
back full circle and kind of was like defended her a little bit, but
Yeah.
still kept the facade
Yeah.
that they were.
Yeah.
And
It
I
was
also
essentially
like,
kind of like hey, I'm not going to tell you how to feel about her, but that's my
yeah,
friend. I know how she is,
yeah,
kind of thing.
and it's like I don't know what it is, the time that we're in, but this is like all these movies are feeling very well timed. Like, you know what I mean? Like the whole
Well,
message of,
like
huh?
socially, they did like
Yes,
socially. They feel.
yeah, like
Give
the
me an example.
message, like an example, like um politically right
Okay.
now. There's certain, and I don't want to get into the ins and out.
Yeah.
There's public outcry uh of this country, the US supporting one country,
Yep.
and a lot of people within the US are supporting another country, two countries that are having conflict. And we
Hmm.
don't have to, everybody that's listening should know who they are.
Yep.
And I felt like Wicked, and this is a timeless tale. This is not something that was written for now.
Yeah.
Basically had a situation where two people, one was demonized and one was glorified,
Yeah.
and somehow it was kind of like in the middle. The truth was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And the public opinion
Yeah.
overrode what the actual fact was, to the point that the people being affected were like, you know what? We don't even care. But believe
Yeah.
what you want to believe. And that's what basically Alphabet did. And I think it's telling that if
Yeah.
a lot more people believe what they feel is true, then it doesn't matter what the actuality of the truth is.
Yeah. It's not, it's like I say, like it's perception is reality.
Yeah.
You believe things to be okay. Okay, so let me pose a question to you because I like what you're talking about as far as like it feels like there's a lot of movies that are speaking on what the world is today,
Mhm.
maybe unintentionally. Uh, okay, so there's that idea that like life imitates art.
Yep.
Look at the stuff with AI. You're a computer guy.
Mhm.
AI, Terminators, and all this different shit. Does that stuff come about in? Do you think it comes about in reality in real life because that's the direction life was going, or do you think it's a matter of people growing up seeing these ideas in movies and being inspired to create those things in real life? So it's essentially life imitating art versus art imitating life, if that makes sense.
I think there's a little bit of truth in both.
Okay.
Being that, there is somebody that sat there and watched Dick Tracy 40 something years ago
Hmm.
talking on a watch
Yeah.
and took that a concept, an idea, and made it something that is practical. Your Apple Watch, which I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there's also like I believe it was Star Trek that had like people talking through essentially screens, and
Yeah.
now you have FaceTime. I
Yeah.
think I think eventually as society all these breakthroughs are going to happen, but I think the idea or us the conception of it does happen in a lot of art.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think I don't know if we're going to get in our lifetimes, but I think at a certain point we might get quote unquote flying cars or
No,
cars that are
but here's the thing. Okay, but this is my question: is something like flying cars, or is something like robotic housekeepers, is that just the actual normal evolution of life, or is it the evolution of life that was inspired by stuff we saw in movies growing up? Like, if we didn't have those examples growing up, would that still be? Would life be still be going in that direction? I
I
think a part of me,
I
part of me thinks maybe, but I'm not positive.
I think so, because that idea was born in somebody's mind.
Okay.
Somebody took, with the exception of like, let's take this example, the Jetsons,
Mhm.
flying cars, robot maids. Somebody thought of that story, and then somebody brought it to life in the cells that they drew.
Yep.
So that was already an idea that was born into the ether or to existence in somebody's mind.
Yeah.
I think that would have been born into the universe regardless. I
Yeah.
think whether it would have taken more time or something. I think honestly, we will always continue to invent and create things that are new,
Yeah.
because I just think that humans are naturally curious.
Yeah.
There's somebody right now that's working on something that his entire circle in his life is telling him like, "Yo, that's crazy. Why are you doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just like the guy that was like, "What if we had like somebody looked at people's cars that are sitting at home not doing anything?" He's like, "Hey, why don't you get a part-time job giving people rides and you get
Yeah.
paid for it?" And then boom, Uber. Like a
Yeah.
simplest idea, but somebody took the application and made it so.
Yeah.
Somebody took whatever we're doing now that was probably communication between government agencies or like individuals that needed to collaborate on something but couldn't physically be there with each other, and
Yeah.
turned this into a pastime that people do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing right now, podcasting remotely
Yeah.
and then recording and sending it out. 50 years ago, they would be like, "Oh, you guys movie producers? Like how many millions of dollars you guys have?" And it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm speaking for myself. I'm just an asshole that has a lot of video equipment at home for no
Yeah.
reason.
I'm a moron with a dining room and a laptop.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, think about this. Like the fact that like, I like the space that I'm in right now in life. Like, I'm 44. Like,
Yeah.
I'm old enough to entertain myself without anything.
Yeah.
But yet I'm young enough to learn to know how to use a phone and know that like, and appreciate like, holy shit. Like I remember when I used to go outside and if it was raining, my entire day was ruined
Yeah.
because I have to be indoors, or if I didn't have a book, like, you know what I mean, or something like that, or like, because think about it, daytime TV for kids, even with cable, was horrible.
Yeah. Terrible.
Like, because
Watch
they assumed
Arthur.
you, yeah, they assumed you were in school. So
Yeah.
if you were home or in the summer, forget about it. You literally had your imagination to entertain yourself
Yeah.
because it's like nobody like a TV didn't account for kids being home. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's why I think our generation is more akin to going out in the
Yeah.
summer or like make it like, oh man, like, they get that yo, it's summertime, like let's go out
Yeah.
type vibes. Whereas, now it's like, nah, bro, I could do this. Like, it doesn't matter how it is outside.
Yeah.
And I think when the pandemic happened, it was really something that we saw differences in. Like, I
Yeah.
think the world changed a lot during the pandemic, technology-wise and everything, because, the it's something that was bigger than us happened that made us adapt.
Yeah.
Like, you
You
know
know,
what I
I
mean?
yeah, I'm gonna like what you were saying before about like, the idea or something like the idea like robots and flying cars was born in someone's mind. I like that idea because in the sense that like, you know, that's maybe that's just an idea that's out in the ether, right? The idea that life becomes more convenient. And that thought gets sparked in different brains. Now, depending on your skill set, if you're an artist, oh, you might make a cartoon that talks about that. But if you're a scientist, you might try to create the actual things that we're doing. So it's essentially it's the same, almost like a hive mind. It's the same idea, just born inside people with different skill sets who have a different ways of putting that thought out to the world.
And one becomes more popular than the other depending on who you are and what walk of life you come from.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, like, you've seen the amphibious, vehicles, like the car that turns into a boat.
Hmm.
Somebody saw that in a cartoon, and then somebody saw that, and it was like, "Wait, hold on, this is possible," and made it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
it's insane. Like, I think the human mind is something incredibly complex that I think people are saying like, "Oh, creativity is dead." I was like, I beg to differ. I think we're at a point in life that we're creating new and also improving on old at the same
Yeah.
time
Hmm.
in a rapid pace. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Well, I think people are saying creativity is dead because they're so used to the older ways of how creativity comes about. Like before, someone else, you know, being creative meant, grabbing a piece of paper, drawing it out, and going. Now, if someone has an idea and does it with AI, or somebody goes, "Oh, that's not creative. You're just using a computer to do it." But no, it's just a different form of creativity. Now,
Yeah.
whether you like AI or not, that's totally up to you. But it's like it's just saying that like just because something is coming about in a different way doesn't mean it's necessarily not there anymore. It's just it's coming up, it's coming to fruition with different tools nowadays.
It's funny, and again, it all depends on what perspective you see. It's funny, like nobody has ever told me because I take a car to go to work instead of me taking a bus or walking.
Yeah.
Nobody be like, "Oh, you're just taking a shortcut. Look at you driving to work." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like Sarat, you travel as part of your job. Nobody's like, "Oh, how come you're not taking a steamboat?" Like, "Oh, you taking a plane?" Like, why don't you travel by boat and train, bro? Like, you get there in 3 weeks instead of a couple hours. You'd be like, "What? You're nuts." They'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, back in my day, that's
Yeah.
what it was."
Yeah. Back when we had a horse and a carriage, and we had to, we'll get there in 3 weeks.
Like, that's like me pulling up, like, to, like, a place where they're chopping wood, and, like, I get mad at somebody because they brought a chainsaw, and I'm out there with an axe. It's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, look at you making shortcuts." It's like, "Bro, don't get mad," like,
Yeah.
because, like, this is a whole thing of convenience. Like, think about this, like, it's like if you bought like, imagine you couldn't buy a house, you had to buy the land, and you gotta figure out how to make your own house. It'd be like, "Oh, you gotta be a man, brother. You gotta be
Yeah.
a settler." Back 100 years ago,
Yeah.
nobody was doing that.
Listen, I'm all for convenience if you're also getting a little bit of hardship somewhere else in your life. If you have a life completely, devolved of, effort, then you end up in a situation like Wally, where you're just on a fucking floating chair and getting shit delivered to you.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
If you can 100% guarantee your descendants, whether they're biological or adopted, no hardships, if you do the hardship for them, you wouldn't do that? I would do it 100%.
No, I wouldn't.
Wow.
I
That's
wouldn't.
the Asian background.
No,
Like,
no,
I know
no,
the
no.
Hispanic hood in me will be like, nah, but I'm also like, no, I don't need you to go through what I went through.
No, no.
Like,
But what? Okay, so by hardship, I don't necessarily mean like, hey, like,
hardship can be any,
yeah, yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like
I
you don't.
feel like they got to be able to put effort in at some point in their life. They can't just have. If you just have an easy road because the person before you put up this easy road, that's how you get. That's how you get
Here,
shithead kids, shithead frat
no,
kids.
no, but here's an example, and honestly, and if you look at our personal life, we both got divorced,
Mm-hmm.
and we're both remarried.
Yep.
So you couldn't tell me that whatever offspring you have or whatever legacy, if they can find their person early and that'll be the person for the rest of their lives, you wouldn't wish it upon them.
No, but that's not. But I'm saying is you got to have some hardship on you. Not all hardship. You can't have a hard. You don't need to have a hard life. Obviously, I'm working. I'm working right now to put my kids in a position so that they don't have to go through everything I went through. But they should go through some of the stuff I went through. I'm sorry. You
But
listen.
but
Hold
hold on,
on.
hold on.
Here's an example. Here's an example. My kids. I love sneakers. My kids are gonna have nice sneakers. But growing up, they're coming off the sale rack. You're not going to have the new sneakers. I'm sorry. You're not going to have the brand new Jordans growing up because you got to learn to appreciate that all sneakers are good.
If you and the wife become ultra millionaires, you get to still do that?
Yes. Because I know what kind of value I know what kind of value I gain as a person because of it.
There's a difference between showing them values and you creating hardship for them, or like withholding something. Like, I get it. You can make people, you could raise kids and people around you to be grounded and realistic without having them, understand the hardship.
Listen, my kids ain't gonna have to walk to school with no shoes on, but they're gonna understand that the difference between a shoe that's on sale, a shoe that's at Walmart, and a brand new Jordan is not that much of a difference unless you're playing a sport.
Okay.
So I want them to be able to appreciate all of them versus looking like, hey, if I don't get the new Jordan, then my shoes ain't worth shit. No, that's an entitled kid, and I'm about to put you outside and chain you to the fence.
But here's the funny thing: entitlement comes from the breeding that you have. You're not born with entitlement. It all depends on what you cultivate. So
exactly. Now, the thing is, if you get your child, if you teach your child that a soft life is all they know, then when they have to go outside and actually have to shovel because the snowblower is broken, I want them to understand, like, this is just something that needs to be done.
That to me is just growing up, like, allowance and shit like that. But I'm not gonna be like, hey man, here's
are you gonna would you just leave your kid with a ton of money, or would you have them go get a job, leave them with some money, but then also learn to earn money as well?
Am I gone? Yes. from the world?
Yes.
I'm gonna definitely leave my kids, and if I have the means to leave them a crazy inheritance, why not? I'll probably manage it. They won't get it in front. I put it in place so they don't have to ever experience poverty or hardship. Yes. Am I gonna encourage their hard work and prosperity? Yes. But I'm also, it's like, here's the thing. There's a big part of society where the rhetoric is you got to work hard.
Yeah.
But then it's like the people that are telling you this, they also had a head start in life. So it's like, how much hard work? It's all relative. Like,
no, I get it. I get that it's all relative. But what I'm saying is you do have a subsect of people who've grown up with nothing, who've known nothing but opulence, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes time to show their hard work, they don't understand what actual hard work is, because they've always had the calculator to do their math. They've always had, a laptop in front of them to do their schoolwork. They haven't had to learn to go to the library and look for things. And that's it. I want my kids to be able to learn to put in work to get what they want. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, you're going to have to hitchhike to get to the library. No, I'll put you in a position where, you have the capabilities to acquire everything you need, but you're not going to sit there and be like, hey, let me just have this without working for it.
I also think that the hardship is going to come in a different form than what we're used to.
Yeah,
I'm all for you having a calculator, but you could have all the technology in the world. Remember the kid that and I don't know how deep into sports you were. Remember the kid that came to the park with Jordan jersey, Jordan shorts, and Jordan sneakers that couldn't play for shit.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If the kid doesn't have any talent, it doesn't matter if they have all the benefit.
I get that, but what I'm saying is so with your money, you're gonna put them in a position to go take lessons, train, get better at playing basketball. Now, there's kids out there who show up with all that, and then dad also pays to get them put on the team, pays to have them in the starting lineup, and that's to me.
No, that's
entitlement. Yeah,
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm hardship. I'm talking about that I want them to experience a lot more open doors than I had.
Yeah,
and granted,
I'll agree to that.
Granted, if us two, because we're in different life situations, if we have children biologically, they're gonna face hardships because they're not gonna look like every other kid around them.
No.
So,
my kid's gonna look cute. Your kid's gonna look like Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
First of all, your kid is gonna look like short and round, whatever.
My kid's gonna look like the plane.
First of all, I'm gonna wish your kid an Asian accent that nobody in your family has. Hello, mommy. How are you doing? Like what? What is going on?
Before we end this episode, it's last year we started a thing called Question of the Week. We're gonna switch it around this year. We're gonna do a hot take of the week. So I'm gonna start it out this week. My hot take for this week is, I think Avengers Doomsday is gonna make $2 billion.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think, bro. So for those of you listening at this point, they dropped the X-Men promo with Scott Summers, and I'm like, like I think I texted you like I'm camping out already. Like the first minute that they're able to sell me a ticket, I'm gonna get it. I might get an extra ticket just in case I lose the first ticket. I don't know how, even though everything is online, but.
Okay. Why are you excited about this film? Is it because there's elements coming into that world that you're excited to see, or is it because the brain trust that you trust with this property is coming back? Like, what is it that's got you excited to the point that you think it's going to make $2 billion?
It's to quote Rocky 5, back to basics, man. They're giving us nuggets to get us excited. They're giving us these teasers that don't give a lot but have a lot of emotion behind it, and they're kind of giving us a peek behind the curtain, like each character's current motivation. If you notice, everyone has a voiceover that explains what each individual that's explored coming from. You know what I mean? Their reasoning. And it almost feels like the first Avengers when they started dropping like those trailers. Like, you know what I mean? I think we're gonna get the elation that I felt in the first one when they kind of like did the infamous shot where Iron Man is landing and then they do the turn and everybody's like that, and also the the Boombaye. Not is it Boombaye? Is it what is it? What Black
Boombaye.
Panther?
Who
I
would
don't
you
know.
watch
Sorry.
Air up there?
No. When Black Panther says comes out when everybody's
Bombay.
yeah, Umbambe. When they're all coming out of the portals, where you kind of like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
Boombaye, like he's Kofi
hey,
Kingston 2008.
bro. But anyway, like
Yeah.
I'm getting that feeling.
Yeah.
So my hot take of this year is
Well, this of the week, not this year, the week.
of the week. My hot take of the week. I'm trying to like I was literally thinking about it. That Michael B. Jordan wins the Oscar. Even though it's being set up that it's not him, that is
I think Chalamet won the Critics' Choice Award.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna have because it goes like it's like almost like what is it
it's gonna be like when Moonlight won Best Picture.
No. When in horse racing, there's 3 big races that
the Triple Crown.
Yeah, I think it's like you know how like the first the horse wins the first 2, and then it's like he's definitely gonna get the trophy. I think Michael B. Jordan is gonna win the Academy Award, and I think that's what's gonna happen because this has happened. Now, if it gets dicey and then like The Rock wins the Golden Globe Awards, then it might be 3 different people winning. Like, but that's my hot take. I think he deserves it. And I think people are going to be upset because they're like, what has he done otherwise? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, how many years ago was Fruitville Station? All he's been it's been mainstream since then. It's like, I think it's about time. Like, I shouldn't have to read up and feel like I need to be smart to watch an Academy Award winning movie.
Yeah. I think sometimes with the movies, they're like, if they're like, hey, like I think sometimes they're like, if you didn't get it, you're dumb. And it's like, no. Just because I didn't get I didn't like the movie. It wasn't for me. I'm not going to detract on a performance because of it. But with that being said, like just because a movie is popular doesn't mean it's not, well acted. Again, fucking Heath Ledger, Dark Knight. Like there was no,
and he was the outlier. I don't think that he was destined. Not destined. I don't think
it was him. Wasn't it him and like Johnny Depp? Wasn't Johnny Depp up for like what is it? Pirates of the Caribbean?
Hold on, let me see. Who did
Heath Ledger? Do I think Michael B. Jordan's gonna win the? I don't know. That's because I haven't seen Smashing Machine. I haven't seen Marty Supreme, so I really want to see it. But I don't know. The fact that Marty Supreme it could be recency bias, but because Marty Supreme just came out and everybody's already waxing poetics about Chalamet,
bro. So he beat Josh Brolin for Milk. He beat Philip Seymour Hoffman for Doubt and Michael Shannon. But if he didn't win that year, the Oscar should have gone to Robert Downey Jr. for Tropic Thunder.
Bruh. Yes.
Bro, if they would have gave him I would have been like, I'm finally seen. Because I still quote that movie on a daily basis. I just sent my homeboy a video. Like the outtakes. How did the outtakes become super popular 12, 14 years later? That I saw it when the movie came and I was like, oh man, nobody's talking about this. But now people are like, yo, did you see this one with Robert Downey Jr. is like drawing on some dude's back? That's the outtakes of the fake movie that they're making. Like the behind the scenes, the character profile of him as Kurt Lazarus as the character that he played. It was bro.
That movie needs so much more recognition than it gets. But anyways, all right. Well, that's the latest episode of Sarat and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast featuring Marcos. It's your boy Sarat, aka Makazi.
It's your boy Marcos, aka At the Sunset Kid.
All right. Join us next week where Marcos will be picking the movie for next week. So we'll come back with something new. And we'll kick off. We're going with 2026. When you're watching this, let us know what you think of the new layout, because I added a new layout to all this stuff. So yeah, let us know what you think.
All right.
Peace. I'm a warrior.